often you think when you're younger, or even when you're older, if you haven't had this lesson taught to you the hard way, is that I can be half pregnant when it comes to ethics. In other words, I can be ethical, but maybe I can step over the line once and get away with it. The problem with that is that when you step over the ethical line once, your line of ethics moves a bit. So next time you step over, you'll step a bit further over the line.
That's such a good point.
Further. So with me, you know, I became desensitized to essentially right and wrong behavior. And it's very easy on Wall Street with a lot of people. As we found out in 2007, it wasn't just me, it was everyone.
But 50 times bigger than what you were doing. Some of these guys cost a lot of people money.
The point is, I always say, everyone's doing it. That's no excuse for me doing it. I did what I did, it was wrong. But the point was, it's very easy to point and say, well, everyone's doing it. So you have to...
That's such a good point.
You have to maintain your ethics. You really do. There's no...
How do you do that?
It's very simple. It really is very simple. You just don't take the first step.
Got it.
That's it. And that's the secret. There's no way you can't like just take a step and dabble and then be a good person. It's very, very hard. I'm a believer, okay, that the enemy of greatness in life is good. Here's the problem. When people are going through life, if things are okay, they aren't feeling enough pain to make a change. It's like if I say to you right now, I say, okay, everybody raise your hand as high as you possibly can. Everyone raise your hand as high as you possibly can. Right now. Everyone do that, please. High as you can. Now just a little bit higher, a little higher. What the is that, right? I meant the first time. I said raise as high as you can. A little, if you really mean it. It's that level above where your comfort zone is. That's where I want you to shoot for. Don't go through life burning at 10 watts or 50. Be a 100-watt person and burn bright. Don't settle for average. You know, like in the movie, I say there's no nobility in poverty, right? Well, this is not a poverty crowd, right? No one here is going to probably end up in poverty. But don't go through life, whatever average means to you, don't let that be your life.
And there are certain states of mind, certain emotional states that lead people to massive poverty. States like fear, like greed, uncertainty, confusion, overwhelm. Then there are other states that set you up to be massively successful. States of certainty, states of compassion, states of clarity, states of courage. Right? So the first step is, you could be great as an entrepreneur, meaning you have great business skills, you know how to build a company, you're a great salesperson, a great marketer, but if you're walking around all day long like an emotional basket case, good luck trying to be wealthy and successful. You'll make money, then you'll make bad decisions because you're in a disempowered state, you lose money, right? So you have to learn, not always like a robot, but you have to learn that when it matters, in that key moment, you have to be able to trigger the right state.
Let's just say if you were to change 2 or 3 things for this to have lasted, what would those 2 or 3 things be?
Number one for sure would be delaying the gratification. The biggest problem I had was
delaying the gratification.
Yeah, that's a problem that a lot of young entrepreneurs have. And I learned that the hard way, is that good things take time. And there were some moves I made that made me a lot of money in the short term, but then created problems for me over the long term. And for example, like Steve Madden Shoes is one of my companies, right?
I remember that. Yeah.
I was the majority shareholder of Steve Madden Shoes. If I had not had that problem from all the stuff I did earlier, I would have made $700 million, $1 billion on that. Just off that one deal versus making $20, $30 million.
Got it.
Because I was forced to sell it too early, right? That's one example. And there's so many other examples just like that where, for instance, if I would have not gotten in trouble, I would have made the dot-com boom and been positioned to have the biggest firm out there during internet craze. I would have made it billions off of that. So while I made a little bit of extra money sooner, it cost me a lot more long term by not playing that sort of long game, playing the short game. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make.
Jordan, did you actually feel that the film depicted you accurately, or did it create a hero that didn't deserve to be a hero?
It's a movie. It's a guilty pleasure more than anything, and it's not meant to be a moral judgment. It's meant to basically make no moral judgment. This is exactly what Marty Scorsese said. He's not there to judge the characters. He's there to put a story on screen and let the people who watch it draw their own conclusions. She could be offended, someone else could clap their hands and say it's the greatest thing in the world. Now I can tell you, I get hundreds of emails a day from people around the world who've either read the book or seen the movie. 98% of them are incredibly positive, empowering, great emails. They saw the movie, they got it. Wow, the motivation was great, the sales was great, but I know the mistakes you made. I never want to do that. I can learn from the bad as well as the good. 2% of them are morons. Say, I want to do quaaludes and have sex with hookers, okay? And those people are assholes, all right? Now, frankly, if you're sitting in this audience right now and you can't go to see The Wolf of Wall Street and realize that it's bad, there's something wrong with you. It's honest, you're fundamentally screwed up. It's obvious that it's not meant to. Is some stuff glamorous? Yes. Drugs is glamorous. Money's glamorous. Sex is glamorous. Does that mean it's what you want to do with your life? In other words, it's temptation. It's part of the human condition, and it's entertainment. So I think that, to make so much, like, people will go to the movie, and that's what's going to cause them to be good or bad. Well, here's the thing. When I looked at Wall Street, I idolized Gordon Gekko, and the biggest problem I have with it is he didn't take the fall. In the movie Wall Street 1, he ended up on top. And perhaps if he would have fallen in the movie, I would have felt differently. At the end, you never knew what happened. At least in The Wolf of Wall Street, I lose everything. My life is destroyed. I go to jail. So I think a smart person can go to see this movie and get what it's about. I think I give people more credit than that. I just do.
Kelly, the 98% of the people who write supportive letters to Jordan, does that horrify you? Or do you actually think that...
No, I don't think your story is a movie we're living this story right now. I don't think there are many people who look at poor Jordan Belfort and think, wow, this is a cautionary tale. He's sold out the 92nd Street Y. He's going on a 45-city tour, and he's got a TV series that what...
But why is it? See, you're looking at things that are very black and white, though. But because I did that because I've turned my life around over the last years. I was out committing crimes right now. People want to believe in redemption in this world. Maybe some don't. Most do. Most people want to believe in second chances. They want to believe in redemption. People go through life and make mistakes and want to come back from that. And when they look at my life now and say, this guy made all these mistakes and look how he's living his life today, it gives them hope. Okay? And if you want to live in a world where there's no hope, and if you make a mistake, you're done, it's game over, then that's a pretty sad world to live in. My belief.
You're right, but I think you're right, he's right. But let me just say, I agree. And the reason why people press you on your finances and everything is because there's not a real sense that this is a redemption story. There's a sense that this is a story of, wow, look at this thing I did, the time that I served, but I turned it around now, and now I'm telling you about it, and
people don't press me. Journalists do. No, because they want to write bad news because bad news sells more than good news. Bottom line, okay? No one outside of journalists ever asks me, but journalists can ask me if they want, but it's because they want to sell newspapers and make hysteria where there is none.
Let me put it this way. If there was a Wall Street billionaire tomorrow that said, you know what, I don't want Jordan Belfort to get this publicity. I'm going to pay back the $200 million to everyone who was affected so that nobody ever has to pay another dime to hear his story.
People would want to hear you more about that. They'll make the story even more sensational. So people love this story.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but they love it. You're missing the point. You relate it to it's not just the money. It's about the most of. It's about someone who lived a life, was almost dying every single day, had a massive drug addiction, had insane talent in certain aspects of business, misused it, manipulated people, destroyed his own life, and was able to come. It's a story it's very extreme.
But you're selling successfully that story now.
Well, why would should I sell it unsuccessfully?
What I'm saying is,
I don't understand.
I'm just saying.
We live in America, right?
Yes, but I think people would like to see you selling Bibles.
Really?
Or some.
Who wants to see me sell Bible? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, let me put it. Do you think?
I could be a great Bible salesman, by the way.